All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another edition of Live SEO Support with your two favorite SEOs in the universe,
Woo!
Christopher Allen Gigas and Nicholas Esquire Altamore III. How are
You don't
you
know my
doing
middle name?
today?
I'm good.
Your middle name. What's
Because
the
actually, just hearing yours, I'm like, I don't know if I've heard it before, but if you asked me, I wouldn't have been able to guess.
what's it start with?
M?
Michael.
No.
Um,
It's
one
not
sec.
like totally obscure, but it's a bit, of a weird one, I guess.
Megan.
Martin.
Martin?
Yeah, Martin the third, actually.
I wouldn't have
My
guessed that. That's a funny middle name.
Yeah, my dad and grandfather were named the same thing, and my mom didn't like the first name, but she allowed the middle name to be transferred third.
All right, Martin. That's like, it just doesn't fit you at all. Martin. You don't look like a Martin at all. I've been told I look
Yeah,
more like an Alan than a Chris. I don't know if that's
yeah.
true.
Martin's. I feel like Martin's turned into a kind of like a funny name. Like you don't hear it very often, especially with the younger generation.
Definitely not. All right. Hey Nikita, what's up, man? How you doing
What
today?
up?
Good to see you again. Um, but yeah, you guys know the drill. If you got any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we will get to them in the order we get them in. Otherwise, we've got a backlog of questions where we've been meaning to answer, and we'll be getting to those. So yeah, welcome, and let's do this thing. Um, let's see. Guess we'll start over here. I think this was one that you gave me a couple of weeks ago, actually, Nick.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah. Yeah, we can go ahead and do it if you want to start off with. I think it's a bit of an audit, right?
Yeah, let me
Just
clean this
yeah,
up.
clean it up. Hmm.
All right. I am quite scared to generate duplicate content because the original content would still be indexed under the original domain. The site URL is, well, I've added roughly 24 new articles and also built some links and redirected old backlinks to the home page. It just seems that an initially French expired domain with English content does not work. There's a lot going on here.
Okay, so
So I would move the complete site over to an English expired domain. What do you think?
so basically, to summarize, because I kind of went over this a little bit with the guy. He purchased an expired domain in a specific niche in French language, right? So all the
Mm-hmm.
backlinks referring domains are French.
Okay.
He wants to rank for English-based SERP, so he recreated an English-based website on that domain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I went through it, um, it's very niche relevant. The backlinks are high quality in that niche. But yeah, the only difference being that it's French, expired domain versus wanting to rank in English. My opinion, or here, if you want to pull it up and maybe get them something to look at.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And then
doing. You can keep
it's been
talking.
like a couple weeks since I looked at it too, so probably need a little bit of refresher. But in my opinion, it did seem odd that it was taking him so long to rank. I don't think he said there was any issues in Search Console. Um, so nothing like that, no manual penalty. Literally the only issue being the language difference. Now, I do think he's gotten, I mean, it's nothing, but it's a couple of organic keywords since I last saw it because it was floored out completely when I saw it. But with expired domains, especially if you're doing a jump like that, I would still say the backlinks from this domain are quality. Now, he did tell me that he added a few backlinks, but I think it wasn't very many. and especially in comparison to the amount of referring domains he's already got going to this. So, the way you'd kind of get an expired domain to have momentum again in the SERPs isn't just by adding content and then redirecting all of the old historical referring domains to the homepage. There's a few ways to kind of increase
One question
taking
for you real
back to the
quick. Do you
SERPs.
know do you
Yeah.
know how long he's been trying to bring it back to life?
Yeah, I think he said it was a few months, and that's why I was like, it doesn't make sense that it's so floored out. Um, but I think, with expired domains, they can definitely be topsy-turvy, and I think historically, I'd never had an issue using foreign language and repurposing it to add power to something, especially if it's really niche down, which he's not he's not changing up what this website's about, right? It's still going to be in the same niche. It's in the arts, basically. Um, as far as I know, his content is all unique.
It's all French.
Oh, he switched it up. So he's adjusted things,
Okay.
I guess, since we spoke.
Yeah, because right now
That's
all of his
that's pretty
content is
interesting. That
French.
kind of sucks because I did have some ideas, but I guess here we'll talk about best practice. If you purchase a domain like this, right, you want to repurpose it, you want to make it for English, pick up that domain and start doing SEO as is. Some ways that you're going to get an expired domain or age domain to resonate more quickly in the SERPs. What I've found is if you've got a lot of historical inner pages that had a lot of referring domains going to those, rebuild them. It's a quick way to get crawlability to the site, but since you're not, changing things up, and especially doing something that a lot of SEOs do, which is just funnel that energy back to the home page of the site, which is what a lot of PBMs do as well. You're actually like rebuilding the historical concept or shape of that site, right? And I've noticed that it gets you resonating in the SERPs a lot more quickly. So I would start there. And then, of course, as you're doing things, add backlinks. Don't think that you can just use these historical backlinks to get yourself ranking with new content. Though it may work over time, and quite honestly, I'm kind of surprised it didn't work on this website, given that the niche, I don't imagine, is going to have a lot of competition. But yeah, like you want this website to not just look like you picked it up and then just started building, what it once was. It needs to look and operate like a new business, right? So you would start adding backlinks, especially English-based backlinks, to diversify away from that French language
Is this
backlink
something you would
profile.
ever do? Would you ever buy a domain that was used exclusively in another language and then try to repurpose it
Well, I have, right? So I've done it with
for a
PBMs
money
for sure.
site?
I've never done it with a money site that I can think of. But when I looked at it, and I mean, like, I don't know if you've gone through it either. To me, it does seem like a very good jumping off point, in my opinion, especially because the TLD is a common TLD, right? We're not looking at anything that's French specific.
Yeah, .com.
And yeah, and though it's got a lot of foreign referring domains, they are so niche specific that to me, yes, it does add value to the campaign that you're trying to create, right? Niche specific is niche specific no matter in what language. And you've got to imagine that there's international business going on. There's all sorts of things that happen across borders, right? To say that a company in the US couldn't have bought a company in France, repurposed everything, started doing things over again in English language, yeah, it absolutely could happen, and things like that do happen. So in my
Would
opinion,
you do this though?
yeah.
You would for
Like
a money site?
hypothetical, maybe not with this particular site, but yeah, if I found something in a niche that was, you know, pretty obscure. I thought I saw a lot of opportunity in it, and
I'd be pretty wary of doing it.
I wouldn't be wary at all, to be honest with you, and mainly just because of if I can get PBNs to index and resonate, And then that's with English language content, with foreign TLDs, never mind just foreign referring domains. Then in my opinion, yeah, I could do something with the money side as well. But it would have to be an incredibly attractive domain. I mean, like I would have to get a bargain bin kind of price tag on it, and
I mean,
then
if you get like an ultra
assume,
good deal on something with that's like super legit, then like worth a try maybe. But
yeah, you just
um,
have to imagine that like whatever you get, right? Like you are going to have to spend a good amount of money diversifying the backlink profile into the geographic region that you want. And then, of course, recreating the content or adding new content to build off of as well. Um, I don't know if I saw something comparable to this one, I think I'd like to try like a little experiment or something. Especially given the last time I even did that with like a PBN would have been a long time ago. So yeah, it'd be kind of let's see what's going on, maybe since some algorithmic shifts have happened. But yeah, I probably would, but I want to preface like it would have to be a very attractive domain that just you don't really find anywhere else. And if you can find something comparable, or even just slightly, not as good, then probably just best to go with the one that's got more geographic relevance. Unless it's like, international based English SERPs that you might be going after.
okay. Um, yeah, I don't think we need to audit that one any further. It's kind of I mean, he's kind of changed course anyway.
Yeah, it
Guess it,
seems like.
guess he gave up.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it looks like he gave up on trying to
Well,
bring
I
it
don't
back
know
to
if he, I
life.
don't know if he gave
I mean,
up.
it's
I
all
think
French now.
maybe, yeah, he's like trying to see if he can't get it to resonate in French SERPs would be my guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of interesting.
All right. Let's go ahead and get over to YouTube. We got some questions. If I made backlinks from different articles from the same site, will that increase my DR? Um, I, I don't think it does. I don't know exactly how their algorithm, like, I don't know exactly how Ahrefs DR is calculated or like Moz DA or any of that. But in general, more than one backlink from a nice domain can be okay. But as far as like increasing your authority further, I don't know if that would really do that. Um, oh,
Also, let's just start with who cares if it increases your
yeah,
DR? Like what
I
you're
was gonna
looking
do
for
that
is
next.
rankability, right? Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, so what Nick was saying was, yeah, you shouldn't focus on increasing your DR. No one cares about your DR. That's just a way to kind of like judge your competition and stuff like that. But what you should be really trying to do is increase your rankings, right? So don't worry about what your DR is. Just worry about what the other site's DR is, and let that kind of guide you as far as how many links you're basically going to need to build or the quality of links you're going to need. But don't worry about actually increasing your score. It's kind of a fruitless struggle. So more than one link from a website can be okay if it's a good site. But in general, people gauge websites by referring domains usually, and that means links from different domains. Because a link from a different domain is going to be better than two links from the same domain in most cases, unless it's like a super good domain. Uh, yeah, in general, you're definitely going to want to spend more of your time, trying to get links from different domains than from the same domain more than one time. You have anything else to say on that, Nick?
Nope, sounds right.
All right.
Oh, well, actually, one second,
Yeah.
because I have seen this come up. So on the opposite face of the token, is getting multiple backlinks from the same website going to be bad for
No.
you? No. And it's perfectly normal to have happen in the internet
Yeah. If
naturally.
Forbes
So
wants to link to my website 100 times, I will
yeah,
take it.
let it happen. Yeah.
um,
And as a matter of fact, I feel like sometimes that is a way to diversify your backlink profile as well. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I
sure.
operate my own PBNs, or we operate our own PBNs here. So it's not uncommon for me to go in and use, random inner pages sometimes, things like that. And if I've got 2 or 3 backlinks from the same PBN, granted, they're all not all going to be on the homepage. I don't care, it's sometimes more of like a refresher thing. And I think, that kind of helps build out some sort of naturalism that occurs in the SERPs as well.
Speaking of linking to multiple domains, now that we have Link Whisper, it's fun to see. It's
Dude,
funny to see like
has it
our.
not changed your workflow a little
Well,
bit?
I honestly haven't. It's going to soon, but I haven't like really
It's
messed with it too much. I just kind of played around with it a little bit. But it's fun
yeah.
to see like the domains that we were like linking to the most and stuff. Like from
Mm-hmm.
Sir Links a lot. So I think it was like Google and Ahrefs were like the big ones. Um, but yeah, it's just fun to see like who we're linking to multiple times
Oh,
and stuff.
I need to write a note for you.
Okay.
Um, yeah, sorry.
All right, let's see what we got next. If I made multiple backlinks from different pages in the same site, but the backlinks go to 2 different sites that I have, is that going to cause any problems with Google? So it's basically like you got 2 guest posts from one site, and each guest post links to one of your websites. So the links are not from the same article, but from different articles. Um, so in general, no, it's not going to cause any problems. But if you repeat this a bunch of times, then you're basically establishing what would be considered a footprint. So, like, let's say you have 10 websites and you get, let's say you have 10 websites and they're all in the VPN niche. And so let's say you go and you do some link building and you get, let's just say, 100 guest post targets. And with those 100 guest post targets, you use all 100 of them to link to each of your 10 sites. It's just very unnatural for that to happen in the real world, right? For the exact same sites to link to, um, the same sites. It can happen a little bit, but once you start doing it more, you're just kind of increasing the chances of things starting to look unnatural. And then let's say that Google already let's just say you had other unnatural things that were kind of popping up on your site. Once you get all of these things kind of starting to pile up together, that's when you can start maybe getting yourself in some kind of trouble. So in general, if it just happens a couple times or whatever, it's not really something I'd worry about at all. But it's not something I would try to do. Like if in the perfect world, I would just say I want them to be, I want links to my 2 websites to be from different targets. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Do you have anything to say on this one, Nick?
Just that, always remember that the websites that link to you are not all created equal as well. So if you're ordering links from different vendors, etc., you have to imagine that there's going to be a higher tier quality of link, and then there's going to be other stuff that is more prone to providing you with like footprints. So let's imagine like a 10-page quote guest post site versus a 10,000 page guest post site, right? Like one's going to be or have a higher probability of being able to seem like a footprint versus something else that's diversified across, a whole lot bigger kind of network. So,
Yes, sir. All right. Let's see what we've got next. Um, Sorry, just give me 1 second. Looks like another audit, but this one actually might be a real audit rather than the last one. This is what he says. And let me get everything pulled up real quick first. Can you see this one, Nick?
mind just sending me the URL?
What about now?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, my Zoom is going slow. That's weird. All right. It's really strange. My like zoom out is going really slow. All right.
Computer's working hard, I guess.
Oops.
How you liking this new Ahrefs 2.0 overview?
I don't use it. I just go straight to the first one.
So do I.
That's what everyone's doing. Everyone's complaining about it on Twitter and whatnot. They seem like they're like getting really out of touch. But anyway, let's start the audit. Hey Chris, thanks for your helpful YouTube videos. Could I have a link? Could I have a look at my site? We got hit by the algo, I think. So that's what his site's looking like for you guys to look at. And it looks like, I'm gonna zoom in here and see if it started dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right around the algo update. But then, he only dropped from
I
like
guess May.
400 traffic to
Yeah.
55 traffic. So I mean, he lost a good percentage of his traffic, but he wasn't at a high number really either.
Though it is a local website though, and it looks like
It's local, but it's in a big
honestly,
city.
he's still ranking.
It's in a big city, and look how many referring domains it has. It has 739 referring domains. For only having 400 traffic with almost 1,000 referring domains. That's kind of, it's kind of weird.
He's ranking for some small cities according to Ahrefs.
And I'm gonna go and see how big his site is. 282 pages, so it's not a small site. So look at the site itself real quick and just see what's going on with it. So yeah, it is a local service-based company, but it looks like they it looks like they probably operate all around like one of the main cities in this country.
A lot of Web 2.0s.
Do they have a blog? Got a bunch of service pages. They have location pages.
No blog with that many pages.
I thought they did have a blog because I saw something. They do have a blog, just not on the top menu bar. Looks like they're posting content not super often. They do have a decent amount of blog content though. It just keeps going.
Yeah, taking a look at it, I think their main issue is backlinks and anchors. Really nasty.
And looking at these blog articles, the first one I pulled up is 0 interlinking. Second one I pulled up has 1 interlink and it comes from an H2. It's hard to laugh. It's just
it's just not. Yeah.
It's not normal. Nope, this one has 1 interlink in it. Wonder if these are actually H2s or not.
I say it's not normal, or I guess we said is, but if you create a hub page, I guess you could have H2s linking to like main focus pages, But that's not what they're doing.
So as far as interlinking goes, there's a lot to be desired here. We've made some videos on this. We've done some of our past audits, and it's something people keep bringing up as far as the most recent algo update that you get better with your internal linking, essentially. And I also had some really good success, and I think it was the main contributor um, to a site I was working on recently. I think it had about 120, almost 150% gain in traffic, just from doing some very basic stuff like adding a little more content to some blog articles, adding more H2s into the articles just to get them better organized. I didn't even really look up keywords or anything, just kind of threw in some new H2s to just organize things better. And just better internal linking, better use of hub pages. Um, yeah, and it seemed to have some really good results doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's go and get to the off page. You said there's some stuff there to look at.
Oh yeah, definitely. The old faithful ones that we always see.
I'm looking at anchors first. I'll get the subdomains out of here. Anchors, okay. I mean, that's a lot of, well, yeah, that's a lot of exact match.
Yeah, a lot of exact match. Going to inner pages, using Web 2.0s, those kind of spammy tactics. And then if you look at his backlink profile and the referring domains going to it, pretty, leaves a lot to be desired there too.
So out of these, this shows, about 200 of them are Web 2.0s. I mean, it's a pretty nice chunk. It's about a little less than a third of the links that he has are Web 2.0s, which are probably just kind of spam. I don't know if he did them or if just that kind of naturally accumulating stuff. Um, did you look at what did you say about the links themselves?
Just that there's not really any really high quality authority linking that I found. It all looks pretty meh. Like, I'm not seeing any really good, let's see, is this a guest post? I don't think so. And I'm seeing a lot of the common guest posts, quote unquote, you might see on Fiverr on here. And that's some of the best links that, I see that he has. Definitely, I would call this a Fiverr style induced backlink profile.
Most of the links I'm seeing here are just kind of like it's like a ton of directories.
Yeah, directories.gov with random promo bonuses from gaming stuff, Web 2.0s. And then, like some of the normal guest posts you'd see advertised, like what's that one? Digital Journal. So yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week too, where it's like if Chris and I, as just normal human beings with, maybe way above average SEO expertise, but still just normal human beings can go through your backlink profile and see, just it's this blatant that it's not the most of quality of backlink profiles, then Google knows for sure, right? They've got an immense amount of data on all this kind of stuff. And especially if you're haunting spammier places to purchase links, then you've got to be extra careful with how you use them. And I would call it an advanced tactic to use stuff, and we've said that before, from Fiverr or comparable marketplaces. You want to know what to look for, and you want to know how to blend that in with a normal backlink profile or a higher quality backlink profile in order to get it to work for you properly, especially as we continue. Remember, we've been in SEO for quite some time. There was a time when this kind of tactic would work no problem in a whole lot of niches for English-based SERPs, etc. it's getting harder and harder. And that game, I think, is only going to continue on, where if you're not strategically diversifying your backlink profile and you're exclusively using these kinds of links, then, at some point it's just not going to work.
So I'm just turned on the Ahrefs bar, and I just wanted to see what his competition was kind of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at page one here. Number one's DR27, number two
Yeah.
DR6, number three DR9, number four DR2. So I mean his DR of 45 or 40 is higher than basically the top four. Number five is DR73, number six back down to DR34. Um, number eight and nine, both 18 and 9. So I think there's only two pages
Yeah.
on two websites on page one that have a higher DR than him. But it also kind of goes to show you that DR isn't everything, especially if you take into consideration, if you're doing these, basically just a ton of high authority directories, and then, websites that have authority, but they're like kind of like Fiverr guest posts or whatever. You might inflate your Ahrefs DR a bit, but looks like it's not quite able. Well, it was ranking for some stuff before, but it only had like 500 traffic before, so I would say it probably wasn't really ranking for these terms too well. Let me go see his. I just want to see how the keywords have shifted and what ones he was ranking well for before. Guess we'll compare it with, we'll just do like a year ago. He's lost a bunch of nice keywords. Yeah, I mean, so I think, as far as what I would do, we didn't really audit the website itself too much, but just the quick look that we did take at it, seeing like the really, basically the interlinking that doesn't really exist too much, I would definitely, would look into auditing like your entire website much more in depth than we just did, since we normally pretty much focus on off-page audits. But yeah, I mean, internal linking is a really big thing, and there's probably a lot. I mean, if that was such kind of a glaring problem, I'm sure there's going to be more in there that you could improve upon that we're just not going to be able to take the time to do in this quick stream audit. And then as far as moving forward, you're going to want to treat this as a recovery. So you're going to want to start building backlinks naturally to your homepage. Things like niche edits and guest posts, or maybe some Haro links, and stay away from Fiverr from now on if that's what you were using before. But yeah, just focus on good links from quality sites. You're gonna be linking only to your homepage for now, and you're gonna want to use natural anchors. We had looked at your anchors before, and there was just a pretty high amount of unnatural anchors in here, or not unnatural, but like more what you consider like exact match anchors. Quite a bit of them actually.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like the third one is an exact match, right? With like
Yes.
70 something.
Yes, 79 links with an exact match. I mean, that's a high amount. That is a very high amount, and it's not even it's an exact match anchor, but it's an anchor that would be very hard to do naturally for a website to use that anchor. It's just not common at all. Like,
Especially 10% of the referring domains.
I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about when it's like keyword plus location name. Like, that's not an anchor that you can fit in easily and like naturally in a sentence, right? So to have like 79 of them is kind of wild. And then one last thing that I don't think we talked about yet is I went ahead and I was just looking at which pages have the most links on them. And he's got quite a few inner pages that are pretty heavy on links. We're talking about 53 links, 47 links, 44 links, 41 links, 32 links. Um, yeah, I mean, just you're starting to get like kind of heavy on these inner pages, right? And that in combination with just a high amount of exact match anchors and kind of low quality backlink profile and probably some low quality signals on the site itself. I think it was enough for Google to say this is just, things aren't looking that good. But yeah, if you just concentrate on doing some natural link building in your homepage with natural anchors, you're going to just keep doing that until things rebound for quite some time. You want to see nice steady growth. Probably you want to see it like, go past the 500 to 1K mark before I would even really start linking to any kind of inner pages at all. And they're also heavy already. Yeah, so just natural homepage building, and then taking care of the stuff on site as well. That's pretty much where I'd be going with this. Do you have anything to add on that, Nick?
I mean, if after a few months you're not really getting anywhere, then maybe time to look into a disavow. But that's always last recourse of action in our opinion.
And so when you're talking about the disavow, what exactly would you be disavowing?
Right, you're right. All the spammy Web 2.0, probably directory type stuff. If you start linking from higher quality websites, then you'd want to keep those. So make sure that, if you're doing the disavow, that you're doing it properly. And if you contract somebody to do the disavow, that you actually manually go through what they said they're going to submit and make sure that, it's just those directory, lower quality kind of things with exact match anchors, etc. And on a personal note, I would always, like, let's say you've got 750 referring domains like you do, I would probably leave a strategic amount of that off of the disavow, like, maybe like 10% at random, just so that you've got it there.
Gotcha. All right. So let's go ahead and move on from that one. Hopefully that was helpful. Yeah. All right. Blake on Facebook, what's up, man? Yeah, like I said, you can PM me your site and we'll take a look at it. Let's go back to YouTube. Got a couple questions here. Hey Prince, how's it going, man? How many guest posts to get 20 DR? I'm actually just gonna kind of refuse to answer this question.
Nice.
And I'll explain it a little bit. We talked about this in the very first question, which I think you asked too, Nagita. And if you're okay, never mind. I'm not gonna refuse to answer it because I think he's asking me.
Yeah, you're already answering it.
Well,
just give the straightforward answer. Who fucking cares? Okay?
Well, I think he's asking because if you're doing competitor research, and you see a site has 20 DR or whatever,
but then you just look through the backlink profile and compare and contrast, right?
So I'm sorry, but okay, if it's your site and you want to increase the DR to 20, the answer is no. Just stop doing that and just focus on building quality links and increasing your rankings and doing all the stuff right. But if you're doing competitor research and you see they have DR 20 and you're thinking, well, how many links do I need to catch up to them? It's really hard to tell you how many links you're going to need to get DR 20. How they do their things is very convoluted. They don't really put the information on display, and there's all these different authority levels of links and the quality of links. It just a lot of things go into the factors. And so what I would do is, look at the sites that have DR20 that you're trying to compete against, and just look at their backlink profiles. See how many links they have, see how many referring domains they have, and then out of those referring domains, how many of them are actually links that they built? Like how many of them are not just kind of the crap that gets accumulated over time, or like directory, basically different types of pillow links and whatnot. But how many of those links are actually quality links in there? And so DR20, what would you say, Nick? I mean, it can really vary. It can
the
really,
variable, like just think about all the variables involved, just
I would
like the
say anywhere between
quality
100
of
and
the
400
domains.
RD.
Um,
100 and
yeah, maybe. I
300.
mean, like it depends on how strong and how much authority they have behind them
Well,
too.
I'm not saying 100 to 300 guest posts. His question was how many guest posts. I'm not saying that, but it's like when I start auditing a site, I'll look at the DR and it'll
Mm,
be like DR 20, and then I'll look at how many referring domains it has real quick too, just to kind of see if they kind of
yeah,
match. And
yeah,
if it was
sure.
anywhere between like, I'd say even like 80 to 300, I'd say, oh, that's about right.
Yeah.
And then of course I'd have to go in and start looking at the links, and of course not all of them are going to be guest posts. God,
Mhm.
that would be crazy if it took 300 guest posts to get
It's pretty
DR20.
expensive. Yeah.
um,
Hope your ROI is good.
but yeah,
Yeah.
just referring domains. That would be kind of the ballpark.
You
What
know,
I think would look kind of normal in Ahrefs at least.
yeah, I would agree with that. Like think about the website we were just on auditing, right? Like immense DR, low rankability, right? And then when we look at the actual SERPs and manually comb, those local SERPs, we realize that these high DR figures aren't even really getting placement there, right? So maybe you are a contractor and some a-hole clients like, I just need 20 DR, because I've heard that come up, and we just tell them to F off. But maybe that is like a client you've landed and you really are trying to do this job for them. Unfortunately, there is not a hard-lined answer that we can give you. However, what Chris said is going to be pretty accurate. Now, again, remember that if that would be the only reason to conceptualize this question. If you're thinking about this for your own ranking, for ranking something in the SERPs, get the thought out of your head and just start focusing on doing high quality SEO, on page and off page factors, which we've got a plethora of resources to kind of go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, yeah. You never want to focus on these metrics that the tools are telling, like Ahrefs. Like you
Yeah.
don't care about what the authority says. You don't care about Moz authority. You don't care about SEMrush spam score. You don't care about any of those and trying to increase those metrics. The only metrics you want to increase are your rankings. And if you're increasing your rankings and you're building quality backlinks, the DR and all that stuff, that'll eventually catch up. It'll eventually increase, and who cares anyways?
Yeah, by that
Just use that to
time,
look at your competitors. That's it.
right. By that time, when you're ripping through the SERPs, you're looking at your money growing. You're
Yeah,
not you're not really worried about what the DR or MozDA is doing. It just kind of matches the site in its own way.
for sure. All right. Um, Blake, I got your
Don't
message.
forget to like, comment, subscribe. Join us in SEO Roundtable on Facebook if you're enjoying the show.
Thank you. Like, comment,
Thanks.
subscribe. SEO Roundtable. All right, Blake. Yeah, I got your
So
message.
bad.
We'll audit your thing here in a bit. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna answer some shorter questions here on YouTube, and we'll get to your site here in just a minute. What is the best authority checker, DR or DA from Moz? We're on Ahrefs. We're still on the Ahrefs train. DR. Moz. I'm not sure. It's Moz was just so kind of irrelevant for so long that
It's
I
just easier to manipulate.
I haven't even paid attention. No one even talks about Moz. It's pretty wild how because Moz was such a huge thing
Yeah,
for
the key.
such a long time, and now you don't even no, people don't even say their name. It's wild. Like people will say like DA, but they just like are using it to like abbreviate for authority, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's true. Maybe it's kind of shifted the
like
definition of it.
I don't know a single person who uses Moz.
I
Everyone,
mean, I still use the toolbar.
I
I
don't.
still haven't switched over to. You did it, right? You went to
Yeah, I
Ahrefs?
just use the Ahrefs one
Yeah.
now. I mean, why go back when we got the Ahrefs one, right?
Creature of habit, I think.
But
I'm too lazy.
if they start charging us for like reports to use the little toolbar, then. But so
Out of here.
so right now the two most popular ways to check authority are Ahrefs and SEMrush is gaining in popularity, mainly because Ahrefs seems to really be dropping the ball as far as getting the product to where people want it to be, and now trying to like increase their prices and kind of squeeze the profits out of people. And they're throwing all this money into their stupid search engine, and it just seems like they don't care about the I don't know. It just seems like they don't care. It seems like they yeah, I don't know. They just
They've got a different plan, and it doesn't. Yeah, they care about something. I'm sure they care about their big ass company, and like they should. But at some point, they kind of stopped thinking
well, they
about the
definitely
people
don't
that
care
were
about
using
they definitely
the
don't care
little
about
guy.
any of the feedback that's coming from
No.
the overwhelming majority of like big people in the SEO industry who are being like, what's going on with this? And like they're repeated, and the way they come back at them is just very like dismissive and like
Yeah.
condescending and stuff. And I
Yeah.
mean, it's just not really how you want to interact with the big influencers in your community and stuff. So, but anyway, DR is probably still the best. As far, Ahrefs is the king of backlink data, and so DR is the king of authority measurements right now. SEMrush, I've been told, I haven't really played around with it too much. I think we have an account. I'm not even sure. The SEMrush is
We did.
supposedly has better keyword data, and yeah, they're apparently making gains on Ahrefs, and a lot of people are switching over to them because they're cheaper, and they're just tired of Ahrefs kind of new price increases and just the way they're doing things. But yeah, DR, as far as I know, is the best. Um, Anything else to say on that, Nick?
No, I think that's about right.
Prince says he started studying SEO 3 months ago.
Nice.
Welcome.
Welcome to the club.
It's going to be a long journey, but we're here to help.
I was reading an interesting, and I'm going to butcher it, but it was based in trading, and I think SEO is kind of the same too. That, you know, traders initially, when they start, it's like, a huge percentage drop off after 2 weeks of trying, an immense drop off after like, a couple months of trying. By 2 years, it's like less than 10% of people who tried are there. And I think with SEO, it's very much the same. Chris and I have talked about it before, but yeah, as far as like my low periods ever, having tested myself a lot, yeah, really getting SEO to work. Not only in just like experimentation, but also getting it to turn into a career, like a self-propelled career, was very difficult, but very worthwhile. So yeah, stay tenacious and welcome to the club. And I'm glad you found us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you've enjoyed the show. That's like 2 and 5 minutes, and then I'll forget, and we won't say it again till the end.
Yeah, be sure to join our Facebook group, SEO Roundtable. You can ask questions in there every day. We're in there every day posting tips and stuff. These live streams only happen once a week, but we're in the group every single day. So definitely the place to be. Who will win in Web 3.0, SEO or paid ads? Why not both? So,
I mean, I find it hard to imagine SEO for Web3. First we'd kind of have to see how it develops, I think, right? Because
I don't like to
I
think
mean,
this far into the future. It just doesn't. I have too much other stuff to think about.
the the idea of like it's decentralized, but then there's SEO values that kind of resonate with the whole thing. Like, I just yeah, I don't know, but I guess we'll see. Like Chris said, um, mm,
Wherever there's search, wherever there's a way to search, there's a job for people to do SEO.
sure, yeah,
And
that's true.
so I don't worry at all because people are always going to be using the internet to search, at least for our lifetimes. I mean, I guess,
Unless,
they're
I
always
mean,
using something to search. Um, anyway, I just, you know, if you can learn both, that's great. But, we're definitely more focused on the SEO than the ads. But, we do run ads ourselves as well. It's definitely a big thing and something I can't really say is not important. We just prefer to do the SEO.
I won't lie. if I could tell my new self that was just getting started in SEO, I would probably say spend some time on ads early on and learn to monetize that route. It'll help with your development as an SEO as well, especially on the bankroll side of things.
For sure. A couple quick things here. These are just little comments. Prince says, "Who's following Weird John Weller?" I actually follow Weird John Weller, but I was thinking about unfollowing him because he likes a bunch of people's stuff on Twitter, and so it's kind of this like a lot of like identity politics type stuff, which I just don't care about. A lot of like culture politics, which I don't want to be a part of at all. Just it's just a bunch of people arguing and hating on each other and whatnot. So I'm thinking about unfollowing him, but I do follow him for SEO related stuff. Just not to listen to what he's saying, but just because basically if he says something funny, I can screenshot it and use it as a meme in our group. Um, he also says in India, the most common software to check DA and PA is Moz. Well, DA and PA are actually Moz
Are
metrics, so you
theirs,
have
yeah.
to check them with Moz. But I know what you mean, just, it's more common for people to use Moz because you can actually check them for free on Moz. You can use Mozbar. It's a free download. You just have to go create an account and you can check the DA and PA for any website for free. You cannot do that with Ahrefs, as far as I know. But I would still say, even though it's quite widely used, I think it's just because it's free. It's kind of like a habit of people, and it definitely doesn't make it the best, right? DR definitely, Ahrefs got the backlink data. That's what I would use if it's possible, and SEMrush would be the second choice. Um, so I always use the Moz Chrome extension, check DA. Yeah, because it's free, right? It's pretty awesome. Um, for sure. We used to use that quite a bit too. Nick was saying he still uses it.
Still do, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like if you're taking it into consideration as like a broad spectrum kind of like I'm combing through data, especially since you're using Mozbar where you already see that what you're looking at is resonating in the SERPs, right? So it's doing well. So you can trust that metric at that point in time. Versus if you're using DA to comb, let's say, aged or expired domains, you're going to find a incredible variance in what that quality metric is actually telling you. And so, with the bar, we can actually use Google as a guideline as well for quality control.
What is going on with my computer lagging? Anyway, so we've got another audit here, Nick. Can you see that here?
Yeah.
All right, and then let me go ahead and pull up.
Ooh.
So it says it's getting slammed by Korean drug and porn links. Well, that's
Been
always
there before.
fun. Yeah, we have.
And we ignore it usually.
And
It
then
depends on how strong your backlink profile is and what you're doing month to month. But
he said it hasn't
yeah,
hurt the site overall too bad, but I see them all dropping off now. Pretty worrisome. I guess he means the links are dropping off.
could be.
Um, all right. And let me go ahead and pull up a
Looks to me like you're
snapshot.
doing okay in the SERPs. So I would just leave it be, continue doing high quality SEO. And what you'll come to find is sometimes when people try and spam you really hard, but you're a solid SEO who's been doing continual work month to month, at a high quality level, sometimes these spammers end up just kicking you up a little bit more
So
and
this
you
is
can just continue along.
that's what happened the last
Yeah, it
time we
happened to
got
us.
spammed. The last time we got spammed, they actually the exact page that they spammed just like shot up in the
Shut
rankings,
up.
and it was like a big keyword. I got a
Yeah.
big one and a real important one, and we're like, oh God, like kind of like what should we do, whatever. I mean, but the spam was pretty nasty. It was very it was malicious. Someone did it to
Yes,
us on
on
purpose,
purpose for sure.
with the intent of hurting our rankings and or like trying to hurt our the reputation or whatever. And it's nasty stuff. It's not something you ever want to see. It's not something we it's just a dirty, underhanded trick that real low energy, kind of weak people do. Um,
Hmm. Weak, low energy people for sure. Reiterate that because they are the lowest bottom feeders of SEO out
for
there.
sure.
Unless, they're like in very high competition, but they're not going to spam out just a random site. Yeah, that's people with lack of creativity or
They
know-how.
want to go spend $100 or less or whatever and try to just throw
Yeah.
shit on people and hope
Which,
that.
at some point it used to work, right? But if you see people using those tactics right now, just kick them to the curb. They're the type of people that don't really have know-how and they just I'm a super hacker. It's
Well,
garbage.
let's finish the audit of the site since we're already here.
Yeah.
So it looks like the site, it's a pretty big site,
Ooh.
about 1,500 pages indexed, 1430. That's a big site. It's in a, kind of high competition niche type thing. Um, I'll just say health.
Yeah.
Uh, da, da, da. Yeah, of course, traffic and keywords keywords kind of took a dip but are shooting back up. Traffic's definitely saw a nice bump since the beginning of the year. It's up not 100%, but probably up like, 50, 60%, 70%. I mean, it's a nice little bump. Let's see what the anchors will look like. I just want to see what
That's what I was just looking at, and I'm like, I don't
yeah,
see any of the really nasty
well, it's all
stuff.
Korean.
I still didn't see it. Oh, never mind. I see it on yours. Why didn't I pick it up?
I do not know.
Oh, there we go. I guess I had maybe DR
It
set
looks like
differently or
it's
something.
I just did exclude subdomains and it went from 20,000 anchors to 390.
Yeah.
So is
Yeah,
it
because I mean they're doing auto-generated
is it
spam,
all
right?
all
Like
Web
it's just a
2.0
bunch of
spam?
threads. No, it's not. Let's see what these are exactly. Oh, they're all dead. They're all dead threads. This is like what looks kind of, I haven't used or seen it in a long time, but it looks like GSA type stuff. Um, so maybe they actually owned this network of sites. Because it's all coming from like a handful of sites. Okay,
Yeah, so
here's one.
it's
I
it's
got one to
basically
work.
it's a smaller group of sites, but they're linking to a ton from each site.
So amateur. What an amateur move. I mean, not even, it's like they're not even trying. And then on top of that, it's like spamming you with foreign anchors. A strange concept here.
I wonder what it is exactly. Um,
I think it's just a handful of websites that they maybe owned that they were running some kind of scripts through or something and just giving you a ton of random silly anchors. What does this even translate to? Hmm. Well, I mean, regardless, yeah, somebody has taken the time to spam you. If they started around, let's say, May, then it looks like it gave you a nice little boost, which is continuing. So I would just, like we said at the beginning, business as usual. Keep your content going, keep high quality backlinks going to this site. And unless you see something go way wrong with your site, like in the SERPs, like traffic just takes a nosedive or something like that, um, I would probably abstain from, messing with the spam at all.
yeah. Um, Yeah, we know it's not pretty. And some people would give different advice. Some people are more proactive with disavowing. They like watch like a hawk and like disavow stuff like regularly, like
Yeah,
every
as it
month or so.
comes.
Yeah. And so it's definitely a strategy. It's just not something that we do. Um, so I,
And you miss the opportunity of maybe getting some ranking benefit from some of
yeah,
these links.
exactly. So, our approach is like Nick was saying, we don't like disavowing. We disavow as a last resort. So that would mean your ranking graph looks like the opposite of what it looks like now, right? You're going like straight down. It looks like you some kind of penalty type thing going on. Um, and then we'd want to make sure, so, heavy ranking loss, not just a little bit. We're talking like 90%, 80%, something like that. And and then we would also want to make sure that you really have the problem narrowed down and you can't find any other problems that you think could have caused the ranking drops like that. But yeah, like I said, some people like to be more proactive with it. So you could disavow it. It's just not what we would personally do. Um, yeah. Do you have anything else to say on this one, Nick?
No, sounds good.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully that helped Blake. Um, See if he says anything in here real quick. Da, da, da. He says that, yeah, I guess the links are dropping off. He says, I guess I wear the
It
site
looks
will.
like they're a couple of the sites are down. Like maybe they tried it out and then got rid of it after they saw it didn't work, or they were hoping that they could give you these links, then rip them off, and sometimes that might cause a issue. But
He says,
I
I.
don't know. I think yeah. Go ahead.
He says, I guess I wear the site will drop hard when those links drop as my rankings pumped up too, and that happened. Yeah, it could happen. But I wouldn't really expect them to drop lower than they were before. Um, we also think it was a negative attack from a competitor as a competitor reached out to us and said, "Hey, look at your SEMrush toxic score." Okay, so yes,
Oh, it's 100% who did it to you. Like I don't
wow,
that. What an asshole.
yeah, that's pretty.
Hmm.
That's pretty. I mean, yeah, that's pretty bold to do something like that, and then
Pretty
and then to
dumb,
admit to it.
really. I would
Because
maybe contact a lawyer and not even saying this to like go through litigation or anything, but if you've got just like somebody that can send him a letter to just pucker his butthole up a little bit, then that's sometimes a good recourse of action,
but
especially if they're a big
but
competitor.
it also opens them up because it's like, well, hey, look what we did to you. Like, bro, like you could literally go to Fiverr and do the exact same thing if you wanted to him.
If it worked, yeah.
Um,
Now I could probably teach you some
Not
things
that I'm
that would
condoning
work.
that. I'm just saying, you know who it is. So like why would you ever admit to something like that? It's
I
wild.
mean, obviously, this is some egomaniac,
Yeah.
who thinks it's the exact guy I was pretending to be, like the evil
Yeah.
mastermind. You've met them in SEO. You can go to conferences, you can talk online. They're they're around, and yeah, they yeah.
And the last thing I'll say, just real quick, he said, "Hey, look at your SEMrush toxic score." That's how you know the
So
guy's.
dumb.
I won't say an idiot, but that's how you know the guy's not too. I don't. SEMrush toxic score is not something we pay attention to at all. I have looked at that score for zero of the sites I've tried to rank ever.
Hold on, hold on,
Huh.
because you call people idiots
I didn't
pretty
say idiot.
regularly.
I just said it's not.
You would not call him an idiot. I absolutely would call
Well,
him an idiot, especially for
I want
reaching
to say
out after the
people,
fact.
what I was saying is that people who look at SEMrush toxic score, because there are quite
Oh,
a bit of
sure,
them, they're
yeah,
not they're
no,
not all
no,
idiots. They
no,
bought into the
yeah,
marketing hype and it's a scary looking score. So it's something I'm not saying they're idiots. This
yeah, they're
particular
not. But
guy,
this guy,
screw him. He's an idiot and
he's
he's
an idiot.
belligerent as well.
Everything he's done is just like it has reaped no rewards to him. So he's taken time, effort, and then made himself a target in the process. Like,
Um,
go read Laws of War or something by Robert Greene, maybe.
yeah, he just no bueno. All right, let's see if we got anything else left. We are running out of time, guys, so I'm going to look at the remaining questions and answer those. If you got any questions left, go and drop them real quick, and we're going to be getting off here pretty soon. Um, any guidance on GA4? Nope, can't really tell you anything on that yet. GA4.
Chris, have you
I,
switched anything
bro,
over? I
no.
haven't done anything.
I'm too
I keep
busy.
getting emails and I'm like, no.
It's supposed to happen like next year, isn't it?
I don't
The
know.
mandatory
I
switch.
honestly, I've got it in my backlog of
Yeah.
to do, and I just I don't know when I'll get
I
to
just
it.
have, we've got more important things to worry about than the GA4 switch. We'll eventually have to do it, but it's not something we know anything about right now or have focused on at all, and probably won't for some time until we really have to, right?
Till our rankings just like drop and we're like, what happened? Oh, forgot to
Well,
update.
that's not going to happen though.
I
For
know,
anyone
but
listening, that was a joke.
yeah, sorry, it's a joke. It's a joke. We joke around here.
Uh, Prince says, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I honestly never go on LinkedIn, Prince,
I
but
hate LinkedIn.
it's actually something I wanted to just like go get my LinkedIn set up and like add a bunch of people or whatever, and then go and like accept people like every month or whatever, and maybe post something every now and then. But it's something I've really neglected for a long time, and we don't really use our LinkedIn's at all. You can add us on Facebook. Facebook is where we're the most active,
Yeah.
and in our Facebook group, SEO Roundtable, we're in there every day, answering questions and whatnot. All right, guys, it doesn't look like there are any more questions, so we're going to go ahead and call it there. Thanks for showing up. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. It helps us out a lot. Lets us keep answering these questions for you guys for free. And join us in our Facebook group, SEO Round Table. Like I just said, we're in there every single day answering questions, posting tips, posting memes, having a laugh, having a chat, having a good old time. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place, Wednesday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time.